Alright lads, welcome to the dev server. Gonna get straight into it. Our first vehicle is the M1A1 Clickbait. This is the new premium, coming in at battle rating 11.3. First thing to mention is that the rank 7, or the new rank 8, is kind of minimal for the Americans. You just get the A2 Abrams and everything else, as well as the XM 106-9. You also get quite a lot of premiums in rank 7. So the American tech tree is vaguely unaffected, but there's some other nations which do take a major L, but we'll get onto that shortly. So the M1A1 Clickbait is a complete copy of the M1A1HC, the marine version. As you'd expect, we get the M829A1, sorry. Nearly 600mm of penetration, can't really go wrong for it. It is a little bit strange, I don't know why they just don't give you an 11.7 and make an actual good Abrams. This tank isn't terrible, but it's not as good as some of the other options. They always pick copy and paste tanks. They're just like weird vehicles, really. We also have the M1A2 SEP V2 coming. This has got some house roof slate on it for some reason. In reality, though, this is like a double layer of ERA. We have the explosive reactive armor. I'm not really too sure. Well, it's ARAT 2. I've never heard of that before. And we also have some more ARAT 2 as well. I think in real life, this is supposed to deflect incoming rounds or like high angles of obliqueness. Like an APFSDS round would hit this and kind of get like forced away. It's basically going to work against shots coming in like this at the side, really. It will also stop chemical munitions quite effectively, so helicopters and heater fast rounds. We do not get anything new. We still get M829A2, so the same as found on the M1A2 SEP. Nothing really new there. The only difference between this tank and the SEP V2 is the additional add-on armor scheme. It does make the tank heavier as well, so it's just a fatter, heavier Abrams with not really too much difference in it, in my opinion. We then have the F-15A. This is obviously the first production model of the F-15, which is quite notable because some other nations get better variants or more modern variants. This is coming after the F4E Phantom 2, as you can see here, so it is not connected to the F14 or the F16 variant. I apologise if you can hear my dog, he's currently rolling on my feet. But anyway, it's going to get quite a basic radar. I believe this plane first entered service in 1975, so it's not going to be anywhere near as good avionics-wise as something like the F16 Block 50. Another massive disappointment is we get a very limited weapon load, in my opinion. The best Fox 1 missiles we get is the AIM-7M. These are by no means bad, but compared to the R-27 ERs, they are kind of lacking. We also get the AIM-9M Sidewinder, which is pretty decent, to be honest. We get limited ground strike capabilities. We get retarded bombs as well as the GBU-8s. These GBU-8s are very effective, but at top tier, being TV guided, you kind of have to... You have no standoff capability whatsoever in this plane. In my opinion, there's not really too much reason to play the F-15A. The F-16C has better radar, better flight performance, exact same missiles. Granted, the F-15 can carry more. The F-15 also has better rate of climb by 30 meters per second, but this is only really going to be effective at high altitude. The F-15 and the Su-27 were designed to fly very high and very fast, which isn't really a thing that we see in War Thunder. I still think that the F-16C is going to be the top dog. Apart from, well, it's going to be the top American dog. I think the other Soviet plane we're going to cover shortly is going to beat it. I'm going to spend a long time on this ship because no one really cares about naval. But this is the USS Roanoke. It's coming after the Cleveland, I believe. Or after the Brooklyn, sorry. It's a light cruiser with 6 5-inch guns. Pretty decent, to be honest. 6 6-inch guns, sorry. 6 turrets housing 12 6-inch guns. Not particularly good, in my opinion. It's battle rating 6.0. You're going to be facing battleships every single match. What a 6-inch gun's going to do on a battleship, I don't really know. Not really my cup of tea, to be honest, but a nice addition nonetheless. Right. Oh, quite a weird Christmas tree in the way. So this is the Leopard 2A7V. It's currently got a debug skin on it at the minute. This is what developers use for like seeing obvious blemishes or missing textures. You don't really want it in camouflage because they wouldn't be able to see it. This will obviously change before it goes live. This is basically like a STRV 122B hull. You've got the additional add-on armor composite here. Just composite screens, which is going to deform incoming APF SDS rounds. Gives you a little bit better hull protection. We also have second generation thermals now, which I'll show very shortly. We also get mine protection, but I've taken this off because it puts 2.4 additional tons onto the vehicle. So we're quickly loading to a test drive. We can see that something else has also changed, which is the new scenery, I guess. They've changed it around a little bit. At the minute, I don't think it's very optimized because I'm getting pretty bad performance. I'm getting 60 FPS. But it seems a lot laggier. So we have second generation thermal imager for both the gunner and the commander's sight. Pretty nice, to be honest. But apart from that, there's not really too much change between the Leopard 2A6 and the Leopard 2A7. If it loads in, it wouldn't let me then. But as I said, the biggest difference is going to be this armor scheme at the front. It's not a major change. I think most factor that people want is just a Leopard 2A6 with better thermals. The engine, I believe, is the same horsepower, so you will going to be a little bit heavy. I think it's a couple of tons heavier than the original 2A6. I could be wrong. But it's a nice addition. Leopard 2A6, same gun, but with better thermal images and slightly better armor. Also point out that the rank 8 for the Germans just includes the Leopard 2A5 and downwards, as well as the Flauerkrad, as well as the Leopard 2 PL. Sorry, it's been a long day at work. It's basically cutting rank 6, or what used to be rank 6, in half. So the Puma used to be behind the beg light. It's kind of a pain in the balls for anyone that's trying to grind out the German tech tree. Gaijin's been hyping up rank 8 ground vehicles, but they've not really added anything new, to be honest. But yeah, just to let you know, this is what Germany looks like in rank 8. They're probably going to find an excuse to increase the research cost for stuff, which is going to be another pain for grinders. But as I said, that is the German rank 8. We then come on to the Tornado IDS. This is a new premium coming for the German aviation tree. Germany is also one of the vehicles that isn't getting a new jet this update, or not getting one as of yet. It's not confirmed to be getting one. Whereas some other nations, I don't think the Germans, or the East Germans at least, operated Su-27s. But anyway, the IDS is completely 100% not worth the money. It gets 2 AIM-9Ls, just like the other IDS, this thing. It also does not get any sort of precision guided munition. It's just dumb bombs and retarded or high drag bombs. Why on earth you would ever want to play this thing in the top tier meta at the minute, where you are unable to turn or unable to run away? And with 2 AIM-9Ls, you're really unable to have any sort of substantial effect on the battlefield. Does it get incredibly good reward multipliers? Not really. Gets slightly better Silver Lion. And gets exactly the same RP. So why you would buy this over the Laser M, I have no idea. At least this thing, the Laser M is by no means good, but at least you have a fighting chance. Alright, so for the Soviets, if we take a quick look at rank 8, we can see that we basically just get the T-90M, the BVM, and the Panzer. Not a big change, to be honest, more just moving already existing vehicles down again. So the T-90M is what we're going to be mainly looking at. There's not really too much change between rank 7 and rank 8. They've just split up rank 6 basically for no seeming reason. So anyway, first take a look at the T-90M. You can see that we get additional protection on the turret mantlet and the turret cheeks. This is Relict explosive reactive armor. While this is good in theory, if you're trying to shoot at Soviet turret armor, then you're kind of playing War Thunder wrong. You need to be aiming for the lower frontal plate as well as the driver's hatch. And if they're angled slightly like this, just shoot them here and it will kill the ammunition. Speaking of which, the Russians tried to sort that issue by putting 20mm of armor around the armor carousel, as well as this spall liner, which is also 20mm thick. I'm not sure if that's steel or some sort of composite, I don't know. In theory, this should stop sparks or bits of metal, destroying the ammunition. But against something like DM-53, I don't think it's going to do anything, to be honest. A lot of people have been coping, saying this tank is going to be incredible for Russia. I think it's just a heavier BVM, to be honest. It's got slightly better armor in theory. We also have an additional ERA kit, which puts the relic on the side, similar to the T-72B3, I believe. Maybe the T-80 BVM as well. But all around, a little bit better tank, to be honest. The biggest downside, though, is we only still get 3 BM60, so it's just... I think the T-80 BVM is going to be better in 90% of circumstances. The BVM's a lot faster and has basically the same survivability. It's got the same weak spots as the T-80 BVM. The T-90M is also well, compared to the BVM, it's a lot slower. We still only have 4.2 kilometers per hour in reverse, which obviously is a major kick in the balls at 11.7. So, a lot of people have been hyping it up. I guess we also have a thermal imager for the commander site as well. That's the only really benefit over the BVM. I don't think this thing is going to be particularly good when people get it in game. I guess it's going to be harder to get a snapshot on it if it's facing you from the front. You get a lot better protection around the gun breach, but it still should go straight through. We take a look against 3BM60. Oh, maybe. Oh, no. You can still go through pretty easily. A lot of people have been hyping this up, as I say. I don't think it's going to be particularly effective. Be interesting to see if these are like rubber... not callus, mallet, no. This rubber matrix, I guess that's a better word, actually does have an effect on chemical munitions. We'll see. Alright, welcome to the new, most heavily armed plane in War Thunder. This plane can carry 10 missiles into a battle. This is, of course, the Su-27. It doesn't have anywhere near as much thrust as the F-15, which I believe got 330. Unless I had it on arcade, I don't think I did. Yeah, so the F-15A gets 330 meters per second climb rate. Whereas the Su-27 at the minute could change, only gets 225. That might be a little bit of a bug or Gaijin not really implementing it correctly. We also get IRST, which allows us to acquire targets without giving them a radar lock. Obviously quite limited in range, but it's still effective, especially for slaving IR missiles. The pilot also gets the helmet-mounted display, allowing you to shoot high-angle off-bore sight shots with your R-73s. Speaking of the missiles, we get pretty much everything found on the MiG-29 SMT. We get the R-73s. We can take a maximum of 6 into battle, I believe, on the 3 outer wing hardpoints. And on the hardpoints underneath the plane on the belly, we can take R-27Rs, ETs, ERs, and probably some other variant that I'm forgetting. But we can carry a total of 6 R-27ERs and 4 R-73s. So 6 radar missiles and 4 IR missiles. And it should have better low-speed dogfighting capability than the SMT. I'm not sure if it outturns the 913 or the 912, but it still should be a pretty good dogfighter for the Soviets. We do also get some air-to-ground capabilities, notably the two S-250 rockets. I think in real life these are S-25-Os, not S-25, or maybe it's S-25O, and I'm misreading it wrong. Anyway, the same missiles that get spammed out on the Su-25T. So, could be a decent ground strike aircraft, but you don't really want to be getting too close in top-tier ground realistic. So, for the Brit-bongers, the video I've just done on it kind of makes this redundant, and I have to go back and change it. So, Rank 7 and Rank 8 kind of split the Challenger 2s right down the middle. The Rank 8 tanks are the Black Knight, the 2E. Not really sure why the 2E is in Rank 8. It's just a Challenger 2 with a better engine. Not really advanced, but hey-ho. It also means we now have a purpose for the Rank 7 Premium, what used to be the Rank 6, the Challenger DS. I'll come back to this shortly. It also means that the Ruicat 105 is no longer able to grind out the top Challengers anymore. So if you own one of these vehicles, it's kind of a little bit of a kick in the balls, but that was to be expected. Anyway, the Challenger 3, this is a modernization upgrade of the Challenger 2. Basically got the same gun as the Leopard 2A6 and the 2A7, the 120 L55 gun. We also get the very, very good DM53 round, giving us over 600mm or 650mm of pen at point blank range. It is worth noting though, this is the first top tier main battle tank which you, well, for the British 3, which will have a Heat-FS stock shell, which might take some British mains by surprise. But we do get DM33 as our rank 1 modification, which does give you just shy of 500mm of penetration. The tank also has the Monster 1500 engine. Oh, that's not right. Maybe I've not unlocked the engine. After we do unlock the engine upgrade, it should give us around 1500 horsepower, which should be the same as the engine found in the Challenger 2E, as well as the, well, it's contemporary engine power to the Leopard 2 and the Abrams. Other than that though, there's not really too much to say. We get Commander's thermal imaging for the Gunner and the Commander. The Challenger 2's already got 3rd gen, I believe, so not really too much changed. The armor isn't changed whatsoever. It's still going to be incredibly weak, but just like the Abrams, the new upgraded horsepower and the decent gun should allow you to at least be... It should at least allow you to be useful to your team no matter the situation. I'm very happy that this is coming. Very, very nice Gaijin W from me. So, new premium, Challenger 2 OES. I believe this is operational entry standard compared to the TES, which is the theatre entry standard. Not really too much has changed apart from we getting a new armor scheme here, external composite. It's certainly a very chunky boy. You are unable to unequip the additional add-on armor. So this is a 74.8 ton vehicle with a 1200 horsepower engine. Not fun at all, in my opinion. It's going to be a very slow tank. But we do get L-27A1, so we at least got decent penetration. This is going to be quite good hold down, but on most maps, especially the more recent urban maps where you don't really have any hold down opportunities, this thing is going to be quite painful to play. I saw a rumor that this is a Golden Eagle premium, not a pack premium, so maybe that will go on sale in a couple of patches. But nothing really too fun, to be honest, in my opinion. We also have the HMS Orion. This is a World War I super dreadnought, I guess. I don't think it's classed as a dreadnought. I think that's past that. It's basically just the HMS Marlborough, but a little bit earlier. It has no anti-aircraft vehicles whatsoever, and we do get casemate. No, we don't. They're not. I don't think they're technically casemates because they're not in the hull. We get quite a few. I'm guessing 6-inch or the 4-inch guns actually. It's not really going to be that effective, to be honest. The wrong tree. That's wrong. It's coming after the HMS Dreadnought for some reason, and it's before the Marlborough. But yeah. Nice addition, but not really needed, to be honest. Alright, so for the Japanese, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is still the good old TKX. But rank 8 for the Japanese. They basically just put the TKX in the Type 10 and put it in rank 8 for some reason. I said in the American bit that some tech trees have been kicked in the balls really, and the Japanese nation is one of them, as you now no longer have a premium which can grind the top tier Japanese lineup, which is a bit of a kick in the balls. Maybe they'll move the Type 16 down, maybe give it a better round over than M735, but I doubt it. But yeah, that's the rank 8 for the Japanese ground vehicle. The new Type 81 hasn't even been moved, at least not yet. Pretty disappointing, to be honest. We also have the Type 99. This kind of looks like a Vidar, but it looks a bit cursed, to be honest. The hull looks way too short for the turret. This thing should be pretty good when they give it its proper rounds. It has the M109 ammunition at the minute for some reason. The gun should be a lot better when it gets its main gun round, or at least its realistic main gun round, because it should have a very high muzzle velocity, making it pretty easy to use, just like the Vidar. We then come on to the most advanced F-15 variant coming to War Thunder this update, and in my opinion by far the best F-15 version. Again, the Americans are getting shafted a little bit as the best version of the plane is coming to a other nation. The F-15J was a licensed produced model of the F-15C, I believe, the Charlie, the Air Superiority Fighter. This thing doesn't get the helmet mounted display though. I don't think any F-15C got them. I may have got it with the E. I'm not too sure on that though. But anyway, this thing is basically... It gets... I think it's pretty much the same as the F-15A, except we get better radar. We also get better missiles, unique to the Japanese F-15J. These are the AAM-3s. They have 40 Gs of maximum overload and pretty good IRCCM as well. They're kind of funky looking. They kind of look like AIM-9s, but with like round, more bulbous noses, I guess. We also don't really have good ground strike options. We have no guided munitions whatsoever. The American F-15A at least got GBU-8s, whereas this thing just gets stun bombs. We don't even get a T-pod or any PGMs. Can carry AIM-7Ms. Not terrible missiles, but certainly not certainly no R-27ERs. So for the Chinese, we're not going to spend too much time on the J-11. It is just a copy and paste of the Su-27. In real life, it's different, but in War Thunder, it's going to play the exact same way. The only major difference is the lack of ground strike capabilities, really. I think the Su-27 got better loadouts. We get the exact same weapons as well. Looking at it though, it does seem to get everything the Su-27 did. It gets the exact same air-to-air loadouts though. We get the R-73s, the T-1s, the ETs, and the ERs. The export model ones, of course, but they're still the same in-game. So it's going to be very, very effective. It's coming after the J-8F in the Chinese territory. As you'd expect, it's not going to come after the M16 or whatever this thing is. Then also have a new tank for the Chinese. This is the VT-4B. The rank 8 of the Chinese territory is the WZ-100. I think this is an export tank. The ZTZ-99A and the TOR-M1. The ZTZ-96 has been moved up to rank 7 now and can be used to grind out rank 8 vehicles. But these other tanks obviously have not. Not a terrible change, at least we do have a premium capable of unlocking these tanks. So what is the VT-4B? It's basically a WZ-1001, except we now get a active protection system or a APS. This works on anything traveling between 50 and 1,400 meters per second. So pretty much all HEAT-FS rounds, all anti-tank guided missiles, and maybe some of the older APF-SDS rounds, but the most modern thin rounds traveling at nearly 1800 meters per second aren't going to be stopped by this. I believe it has 2 charges. Yeah, it's got 2 on either side, so not the most amount of charges, but at least like the Black Knight has a very fast interception rate of 1800 meters per second. This thing, I think it's kind of just a gimmick really to keep you safe from helicopters, but it's not really going to do anything against your primary opponent, which is enemy tanks. So the Italians don't get anything yet, although they, Mike Goes Boom did say they are working on something for the Italians, but it isn't in this version of the dev server. So instead we're going to look at the Mirage 4000. This thing looks very, very goofy in my opinion. It looks way too fat around the fuselage. It's just the Mirage 2000 but with an extra engine and a bigger fuselage to compensate. Surprisingly, we get decent air-to-ground capabilities. However, bear in mind this is the Atlas pod. It does not have a thermal imager. It is just a day and night sight without lacking thermal. So we do get the BGL 1000 guided bombs, only 2 of them on that single hardpoint. We do get the ASL 30 Nords. These are very, very good air-to-ground missiles. Basically laser designated missiles. Not too good in the modern air defense meta where you've got Panzer. You kind of have to stay on target and guide them in manually. Get a selection of air-to-ground bombs as well. The main selling point though is going to be the Magic 2 missiles. We can also take out the 530Fs. Bear in mind, these are the pulse modulated missiles, so they are going to be incredibly easily chaffed and notched. They are not the 530Ds, which are the constant wave missiles. So you don't really want to be using the Fox 1 missiles. I'd just take a load out with 6 Magic 2s. But yeah, it's quite a new addition. It's quite a funky aircraft. I didn't really know this existed, but I don't think it's going to be doing too great in the meta. For the tank lineup, they've only moved the S-21 and the Azure, none of which are really that powerful, to be honest. It's just additional modular armor protection. We also no longer get a premium in the French territory where we can grind out the Leclercs. Again, is a little bit of a kick in the balls to anyone that bought this thing recently, or even the MX-30 Super. What we do get though is the TPK 6.41. It's just a truck with a gun on it. I don't know what that says at the front. ALM, A+M. Don't really, well, I guess it's kind of needed in the French territory. You don't really have any air defense. Kind of a funky looking tank. It's got a joystick. You can play a military simulator while you're waiting for planes to show up. Not really that good. Well, I don't really know. I've not played it yet, but it's kind of funky, really. We also get a premium battleship for the French. It's kind of similar to some of the older German battleships where you've got like the turrets on the side. Sorry, I'm falling to sleep. I'm not tired. This thing gets just normal high explosive rounds as well as armor piercing capped. This is a World War I ship. It is very old. It is coming in at battle rating 6.3, so you might get some down tiers, kind of similar to the German Helgoland class where it's 6.3. If you get an up tier, you kind of get absolutely beaten around like an Irish housewife, but if you get a down tier, you kind of club everyone else, I guess. So it could be a good grinder for the French Navy, but I don't really see anyone playing the French ships. I don't play them at all. Nice to come to the game, but no one is really crying out for it. Alright, so for the Swedish, take a quick look at rank 8. They've basically put all the STRV 122s in rank 8, which I guess cuts down the rank 7 grind. We still also have the CV90-105 to grind the top tier tanks with. We do also get the STRV 122B+. You might be asking what the difference is. Well, we have this composite screen right here. That is it, basically. See here, compared to the PLSBB. Might get more composite on the actual turret itself, actually. But there's not really that much difference. The tank looks like it's been put into like a blender and smoothed out all the edges on it. Maybe it's got a DLS on this model and not the other. Slightly better armor protection, I guess. Same gun with the SLPPRJ. This tank for some reason doesn't, or it does get DM33, I'm mistaken. But it doesn't get better thermal imaging compared to this one. It has the exact same gun handling and gun systems. We also lose the pop-up Commander's Cupola thing, or Commander's Thermal Sight for some reason. We lose that. Still get a Commander's Thermal, but it's not a up and down thing. We also get the Grippen. This is the A model Grippen, so it's going to have pretty bad power to weight rate or thrust to weight ratio, to be honest. At least compared to some of the older models. I don't think it has a 1-to-1 thrust to weight, or it shouldn't have. I don't believe the Grippen achieved that until the Grippen E. Could be wrong though, but I think that's correct. Anyway, this thing has quite a... It's basically giving the Swedish a good top tier multi-role fighter. Sweden doesn't really have any good cast points until now, really. I know most people aren't going to be playing this for cast, but I like top tier Sweden a lot. And we can take along... Well, our first missile here is the AGM-65Ds, Maverick Ds. Very, very nice. Good for standoff engagements in ground realistic. Can also take precision guided munitions. You got the GBU-12, the GBU-16 and the 24. So a good choice in loadout. All of these can be taken along with 2 AIM-9Ms or AIM-9Ls. Which brings us onto the missiles. We can take the RB-74, which are AIM-9L equivalents. Or, well, I guess they are AIM-9Ls themselves, actually just a different name designation. We also have the RB-74M. This is the AIM-9M found in the American territory. Very, very strong missile. This is going to be the thing that you want to be flying the plane out in. We do also have some RB-71 DFs. These are the Sky Flash Fox 1 missiles. They are constant wave, but they are pretty limited at the minute, at least at the battle rating of 12.0. I wouldn't really be using it. This A model series of Grippen does not get a helmet mounted display. It does get a 27mm ACAN. This could be the gun found on the Tornado or similar of it. Could be wrong by that. It is also worth bearing in mind that the British will be getting a Grippen. However, they will be getting the Grippen C model, which does get a helmet mounted display for the IR missiles. But apart from that, there's nothing really too much about the Grippen. I don't think it's going to be that great, to be honest with you. It's not really got a good thrust to weight ratio. It's going to add a good cast plane for the Swedish. I don't think it's going to be meta changing, especially considering this plane is... It's so modern that it was designed from the offset to use the Mica and the IRIS, whatever it's called, the German or Anglo-German missile, as well as the fantastic Meteor, which is nowhere near, well, it's nowhere near ready to go into War Thunder. That thing is so powerful. So it's a good plane in real life, but in War Thunder I don't think it's going to be doing too well. So for the Israelis, our rank 8 is just the Merkava 4s, as well as the Merkava Mark 4M. Same thing again, the Merkava Mark 2D is now no longer able to grind out the top tier Israeli tanks, which is a bit of a kick in the balls. I don't really know what you're supposed to do. I guess maybe use the Merkava Mark 3s to do it. Not really that enjoyable to play the Merkavas with the rather long reload, even though they use the same gun as, well, basically every other NATO type tank. Apart from that though, we do get the M109A1 now. It's got the longer barrel on it. Not really that particularly fantastic compared to the other one. I guess it's a slightly higher battle rating for some reason. Well, a bit better muzzle velocity. We also get the Israeli M113A1. We still only get the toes and the eye toes though. So the same missiles found on the Beglite Panzer. Can't complain though, really. 630mm of penetration. It's one of those tanks where you can use it at top tier if you really wanted to. It's just a cheap tank that you can spawn with a missile that is fairly powerful. It's coming right after the Zaklam Tega, so they're actually splitting the SPA line now in the Israeli territory. The Su-27 used to come after the Tega, so they've basically moved it over really. Not really that important. I guess it does make it slightly easier to get the SPAs now because you don't have to go down to one single line. Apart from that, there's nothing really coming for the Israeli ground tree. What we do get though is the Baz. This is the, well, it is an F-15. I'm not sure if it's an F-15A or an F-15C. Guessing it is an A, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not really too up to date with my F-15 export models. Like all the F-15s, we get a wide selection of air-to-air missiles, really. We still don't get the AIM-7Ms, but we get the Python 3s for the Israeli F-15. These are the rather long-range IR-guided missiles. They do not get IR-CCM, though, which does make them quite limited compared to something like the AIM-9M. I would still use the AIM-9Ms over the Pythons, in my opinion. While they don't have as high maneuverability, the 9Ms are a lot more resistant to flares, which is what is important at top tier. We also get the AIM-7Ms, again, very, very good. Not particularly long range though anymore. It is coming after the Kernas 2000 or the F-40 Super Jet kind of thing. I'd have thought it would be coming after the Barak, but I guess not. So lads, that's pretty much it for this dev server overview. I'm not really going to cover anything else. There might be some patch notes where minor other vehicles get small changes. I haven't seen it yet. Anyway lads, thank you very much for watching. I'll maybe cover the second dev server when it comes out. Be sure to go onto the dev server today and have a look yourself and give any bugs and feedback you find and give it to Gaijin so we can make this game better. Thanks again for watching lads. I'll see you in the next video.